We did hear quite a few people saying, oh, I'm waiting for Novavax or I'm waiting for a particular vaccine. So is this the suggestion then that it's now here? It might be the one that gets people over the line.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'd represent those people as anti-vaxxers. They're people who are anxious, sometimes for spurious reasons, but often for good reasons, that they might have had myocarditis, inflammation of the heart in the past, and they didn't want to risk it again and were advised not to take the Pfizer or Moderna vaccines. Either way, it will get people who were extremely vaccine hesitant, I'd say, rather than anti-vaxxers, over the line. There'll still be 2 or 3% of Australians who won't have any vaccine at all, but for some of those, it will get them over the line.
OK, we've been looking at booster shots. They've been gradually increasing amongst the population, which is great. But of course, like with every other COVID vaccine shot, Norman, they only have a limited shelf life. So after the third dose at some stage this year, maybe later, are we looking at a fourth dose to try to keep us safe?
It's possible, yes. But it's just not certain at the moment, and it will depend on new variants. As we spoke about a couple of weeks ago, we're going to go into a lull after Omicron, which may come to a second wave of Omicron in Australia in winter. We'll just the BA2 subvariant of Omicron may turn out to be more vaccine resistant and be a problem. So you just really can't predict how things are going to go. We know now that people who are immunocompromised do need a fourth dose, and even some people who are frail and elderly, even with the third booster dose, they're not as well covered as you'd like, and that does wear off. So it's just not entirely visible at the moment, the extent to which it will spread. Even in Israel at the moment, they're not spreading it to the whole population. They're keeping it to older people, people with comorbidities and the immunocompromised. We can't boost our way out of this pandemic. We're still going to have other measures in place.
Norman, what's the latest Coronacast looking at as far as how the next pandemic might be prevented?
Well, this one was picked up too late after it had gone into the human population, and we've spent billions, if not trillions, on the economies and on technological developments to actually control it. What if you could control the spillover from animals to humans in the first place? And there's 3 strategies proposed by this consortium of researchers. One is to actually have a network of surveillance of viruses in the wild, and genomics, so that you know what their genetic structure is. The second strategy is to control the international wildlife trade. It is very poorly controlled, and that is a major source of, if you get spillover, of it coming into the human population, and that needs to be controlled. And the third strategy is really just to control agricultural development and stop deforestation, because as agriculture becomes more intensive in areas such as rainforests where it was never meant to be, humans are exposed to viruses they were never supposed to be exposed to. So those 3 strategies, for every $1 invested, they say you'll get $20 back in the future.
OK, just switching our focus away from COVID and finishing up on the Prime Minister flagging as we lead up to the budget, beer excise on draft beer will be cut. I know you've been very vocal about this. Why do you think this is not necessarily such a great idea?
We should not have... Our national alcohol policy is a bit of a mess. It's the responsibility of both parties. We don't tax alcohol like other countries do according to the amount of alcohol in drink. That makes cask wine very cheap for our most vulnerable communities. And we have got a problem in the over 55s who are not controlling their drinking the way younger people are, and that they do not have the brain reserve to actually take that heavy drinking. And this will increase the volume of alcohol consumed, and that is not a policy that you want. Bladder cancer, bowel cancer, breast cancer, accelerated dementia, domestic violence, accidents, those are the things that happen when you increase alcohol intake. And with this reduction, it will be in our most vulnerable populations.
Norman Swan, thank you.
You're welcome.